this is what you were kind of saying when we first talked, is going from a garden planning app to a garden managing app.
Exactly.
And that's the direction we want to go in. And currently we're just starting that journey, I would say.
I'm in my garden on my Planta Garden app. Now, I used to refer to it as a garden planning app, but it's becoming much more than that. I recently traveled to Connecticut to meet with the chief management and design team of Planta and learn some amazing things. Join me today as I share with you that conversation and how Planta is changing. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott, and that was Peter in the opening clip. Along with Aaron, who drove down from Canada, the three of us got together in Peter's Connecticut home to talk about Planta. Specifically, some new releases that are coming out to make the app even better. But more importantly, the three of us were able to share ideas. I've been working with Planta for a number of months now, and they're very receptive to not only my ideas on how to make the app better, but they're also taking the ideas of regular gardeners, Planta users who can submit an idea, the team will review it, and there's an awful lot of those ideas that are already incorporated in the app. When the three of us got together, it was pretty exciting actually to talk about where the app is going. We talked for more than an hour and a half, and I've distilled that conversation into some key points that I think are important. And at the end of this discussion you're about to see, I'll come back and I'll give you some more highlights about what's coming. Tell me about the new release, what you have coming up.
Okay, so the new release is a garden summary. So the garden summary will let you basically print this out or take it with you really easily to the garden nursery or the Home Depot or Lowe's, wherever you get your seeds, and know exactly what plants you've got in your garden. So if you take a look at this, it'll show you a quick thumbnail of the garden. It'll say exactly how many plants you're planting. So, and like split it down by variety.
16 onions and 64 carrots and 2 tomatoes and whatever. This is based on what you've put into your plan.
Yep.
Is that the idea?
Yep. And currently, right now, it's just the summary of one garden. But assuming you have multiple garden beds, that's the next step. I coded this in a way where you can put in multiple gardens and it'll accumulate all the different plants that you need. So if you have, like you have multiple beds with garlic, it'll count it all together so you know exactly how much garlic cloves to buy to plant your beds.
And so does it also have the capability to document what seeds you already have? So if I know that I have certain seeds, is there a place that I can go and list my inventory, and then does my inventory talk to the plan to see what seeds I'm lacking?
No, that's not here yet, but we really want to add that. So that's one of the features where we were hoping to add it for this season. Timing didn't work out. We were working on other features. But hopefully for next season, when you January, when you're planting your garden, you can create a seed inventory. And then another feature we want to add along with that is seed tray planning. So you can take out your 72 cell seed tray or whatever it is and plan it out just like you do your garden. You can drag and drop into it. Except there won't be 16 onions in one cell of your seed tray. It'll just be, the one probably.
I envision just, all in one. And so when I buy a pack of seeds, I put it into my inventory. When and then associate with that also
variety in there.
exactly, update the variety information at the same time. And then when I go to plan, I can drag that over and it will know whether I already have the seed or not.
Yep.
And then after all the planning, I go to whatever page and it tells me what I already have and what I still need. And then that's what I take to the store. And so is that matching what you're kind of thinking?
I had never thought about, deducting what you already have, and then coming up with a shopping list like that. But that's a great idea. And this would be great when you're at the nursery and you're tempted to buy like a few dozen seeds. You can look through your inventory and say, "Oh, I already have."
Yeah, I have 3 packets already. And then it's more visible too for people going in, because I think right now, the buy seeds, you go through the plant and you go through the varieties, and some of them are burpee specific varieties, and if you kind of look at the bottom, you can see the button. So that would kind of surface it more as well to make it easier for people to find that if they're interested. So that's a really key key point as well. And that's why this type of dialogue is great. Like, and that's where we spitball, and it's great to have your input as well, given all your gardening experience. Because people see things differently and people garden differently and they approach it differently. So it just makes the app better. So it's really good.
And so you've got that part that is already released or being released.
Yeah.
What's next? What are you working on? Because you're saying it takes weeks for some of these projects to.
Yeah.
So is there something that you're working on that we're hoping to see?
The next big thing, well, I don't know. I would say it's Calendar 2.0. This is what we're calling it. Calendar 2.0. And that's planting reminders, watering reminders, fertilizer, all these sort of reminders, and having a more personalized calendar. So like right now you go in the app and the calendar is just a list of when you can plant things. We want it to be more proactive and actually let you know if it's time to plant something. And then if you mark when you plant it, then it'll also be able to tell you, hey, it's probably time to harvest it.
Good. That's a piece I think is important.
Yeah. So all that information.
And so will that work, or can you integrate it to the information I add? So if I add a variety with the name, I'm also listing the days to harvest, and so now that'll all link together. So even if it's something that doesn't come with the primary planter app, if I add it, I can still get that same reminder with my information that I've added.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome.
I just really need like 2 things from you: is your frost dates, and then that germination and days to harvest. That would be it. I kind of want to add like a timeline view. So if you don't want to be pinged every single time, you can open it up and look a timeline view. Say, okay, this is the next thing on my to-do list, and be able to scroll down and look at all the tasks that might be coming up in your garden.
And so, when are you anticipating that might be released?
This is a big feature. So the goal is to have it ready for planting next year.
Okay.
And it might be ready before that, but a lot of people won't really see much use of it before next year. So,
sure.
Except the Australians, maybe we'll get it ready for them, and then they can test it out in their summer. And
there you go.
Yeah. One of the great things about Planter is it's so customizable. You can make your own plants, you can make your own varieties, you can customize the spacing you can customize the information, every piece of information on every plant. But you don't need to.
Yeah, because if it can be planning, and then management, and then the review
year in review.
Yep.
In each given season, and then all that ties into the planning for the next year by having the inventory linking to the shopping list. And then all of a sudden it just becomes a full circle app where everything you need to run your garden is at your fingertips.
Absolutely. Yep. That's where we want to go. That's where we want to go.
So imagine a gardening app that can do just about everything except put the seeds in the ground. That's where this is heading. Right now, I can choose one of my beds and plan what plants are going to go where. Well, now with the summary, I can take my plan and know exactly what seeds I need to buy to fit with that plan. And what's coming is the inventory of the seeds that I already have so that I don't inadvertently buy more seeds than I need. Tie that into some of the ability that already exists where you can take notes about your plants and how well your season does. And one of the things we talked about is having a year-end review and summary where we can take our plan and our notes and save it for the year. And then in the future, as we have more beds and more notes, we can then start putting those together. And it essentially becomes a gardening journal. There's also an aspect that I really like, the guide. You click on the guide function and you can now read articles on how to plant, how to sow, how to harvest, how to do all of the gardening functions. And I particularly like it because they're linking some of my videos in the guide on the app. In our long discussion, we talked about many design changes that could be implemented. Right now, the current planning part of the app is 1 foot squares. But what if you had the option to turn those into 6-inch squares? That would work better if you didn't have an evenly sized bed. Or what if you could select circles? That would work great if you were planning a pot or a container or a green stock tower. All of those are potential modifications to the app. We also talked about the possibility of when you've figured out your inventory and you're doing your summary, instead of going to the store to buy seeds, you just click on a quick link that takes you to an online seller that sells that specific variety that you've chosen. All of this is where this company is headed. They're trying to make the app better so that it's more suitable for gardeners like me and you. I've put a link in the description below to Planta so you can check it out for yourself. I look forward to meeting with these folks again. They're fabulous people. Peter and Aaron were just amazing. And it was like we were old friends sitting down on a couch talking about our gardens because they're gardeners too. And that's where a lot of the ideas come from. Their gardens, my garden, and then of course whatever you might submit to modify the app based on your garden. I really like where it's already at as far as a garden app, and I'm really excited about where it's going. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.